I'm Brian Winnikins. We are at Commodity Classic, and thank you to Annabis Silo Durand at the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, BASF, and also BASF Northwest Wisconsin, Ashley Gausman and Sam Burgess, your representatives, and Darylin Equipment Services, Plainview, and Woodville. And joining us, Mary Kay Thatcher from the American Farm Bureau Federation, talking about some national issues. One of them is going to be immigration. And Mary Kay, thanks for joining us. The week after Commodity Classic, Farm Bureau found out, at least that coming up the week after Classic, some immigration bills coming down the line. Tell us about this. This is kind of serious stuff.
It is serious. We understand that just next week, Congress will mark up a bill that will require E-Verify to be implemented, but it's going to move that bill without any changes in the rest of the immigration package, i.e., we're not going to make progress on H-2A employees or on making some of these other legalization issues work. It's very dangerous. We did a study a year or so ago that said if you pass just mandatory E-Verify, that food prices will probably go up 5 to 6%, and agriculture will produce 30 to 60 billion less in commodities. We have got to have a workable immigration system.
For us in Wisconsin, obviously, with the dairy industry, that's huge. I mean, the immigration, the immigrant workers, it's a huge part of all of our operations. That could really be a big hit for our dairy industry, which has finally recovered here after some tough years.
It will be. And, you know, I think it's really just recently that people have taken so much note of dairy and immigration. It was always just a fruit and vegetable problem. So the dairymen really add a new perspective to that debate, and one that's very important to carry to Capitol Hill. I would also say that there has been some discussion about, well, maybe we'll just exempt agriculture from this E-Verify. Well, if every other industry comes under E-Verify, where do you think those ICE agents will be? Out in the middle of our fields, in our processing plants, et cetera, all the time. So exemption for just agriculture isn't a very good issue either.
Do you think we'll actually have any type of reform other than this mistake of a situation they're starting to form up on?
Well, it's sort of like tax reform. I don't think we're going to get overall tax reform, even though we'd like to discuss that. I don't think we'll get overall immigration reform. We're probably going to have to move it in piecemeal approaches, but certainly moving the mandatory E-Verify before you fix some of the other problems. Unhooking those two is not the right answer.
U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin recently wrote a letter to the U.S. Trade Representative about with some of the trade agreements that we're working on, Trans-Pacific Partnership, the Transatlantic Partnership as well, about geographic names. For Wisconsin, that's kind of a big deal. Some of these geographic names, and you know, all of a sudden we can't have Parmesan cheese anymore. What's that all? You know, really? Are you kidding me? Do you think that that's something that's really going to, the European Union is going to really try to force?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the European Commissioner, the new Ag Commissioner, was over here for the Ag Outlook conference a week or so ago, and he talked about, oh, well, it's maybe only 5% of our production. It's not a big deal. But it is a big deal, and it's an especially big deal to the dairy industry, and it is one of the holdups for sure as we try to move TTIP forward. They're trying to use that as a protectionist tactic. I think our U.S. trade rep is all over it and certainly has got our backs on it.
But do you think that could be a sticking point with some of these agreements where it could prevent them from moving forward? Or is this going to be one of these trade bait things where, okay, we'll let you do it because we want something on the manufacturing side?
Well, it's hard to say exactly what the negotiations are. I mean, certainly they are using it at least as a negotiating point, but I think they've got some farmers who feel so strongly about that and are so vocal about it that it's difficult for them, too, from the political issue over there. So it will be, I think, one of the last things decided as we move forward with TTIP.
It's going to be an interesting time. Mary Kay, thanks for joining us.
You bet.
Mary Kay Thatcher, she is with the American Farm Bureau Federation from the Commodity Classic. I'm Brian Winnikins.